私が聞いても口を閉ざしたままの捕虜が一人でもいたっけ。ここからは大人の時間だね。
Hey everyone, I'm going to react to Bungo Stray Dogs Season 2, Episode 5, Three Companies Conflict. Three companies. I'm assuming the three companies are the agency, the port mafia, and then the third dude, what were they called again? That one, that came from Europe or something or other like that. I'm forgetting the name. The guild, yeah. I'm assuming it's those three companies. But yeah, last episode was basically the last episode of the flashback. With Odasako dying, and during his dying breath, telling Dazai to basically choose the path of good, And that's when he reached out to the leader of the government agency, and the government agency person pointed him toward the president, I guess, of the detective agency that we now know. So yeah, that's all about this episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please go to support my Patreon at patreon.com/feelmini. And now I start this episode, and here we go. I wonder if we're gonna see Bungo again, because he clearly is not dead, so we'll see. People, I don't like this. I do not like this. The fact that they had this sort of like radioactive whatever tracker thingy on, the assassins and whatnot, another thing is like attached to the president, and now they know their location. It's like, freaking frack. I was hoping, as he was talking about it, that maybe, but what I was hoping that maybe the president would know about it, would have figured it out, and would have gotten rid of it before going to their new secret place, hideout, and whatnot. But like, what would he think about that? What would his mind go there? And so I feel like they actually do know where they are. Oh, freak. Kyouka was supposed to have this first mission where she's supposed to deliver this envelope, I guess, to a judge, and they got there. They're like, okay, you're gonna have to sign in and do all this stuff, and they're like, there's not enough time. And then she created this blackout and started tasing people as she made her way to the judge, and then she tased the judge. I'm like, oh my goodness. But then they said that the president and the judge were friends, so he smoothed things out. But then they started this episode with Tanizaki and his sister, and he was saying something about how Kyouka was an orphan because her parents were killed. And then like he was like, his parents were killed by, and I'm like, okay, who killed her parents? And then after they had their mission, and then Atsushi and her were sitting on the bench talking and everything. And then you see this woman show up. I know her ability is Golden Demon. I just don't know. I didn't write her name down. She shows up and like, first of all, they were talking about her phone, Atsushi was asking her why is she still keeping the phone with her, and then she said something about the program on the phone having been changed and that it was still important to her. Why is it important to her? I have no clue. But then a call came through that phone, and then the voice came through, and the voice used Demon Snow to stab Atsushi. Because she was like, Atsushi is basically the one that's blinding Kyouka, making her believe that she can walk in the light when she belongs in the darkness and all of that. And that she knew someone that also was burned by the light or something or other like that, meaning she was referencing herself in that particular moment. And I'm like, just because you are used to the light doesn't mean that like to the darkness doesn't mean that Kyouka has to live in the darkness with you, you know. And then she said something about how their leader had basically given an order to kill all the members of the agency, and because Kyouka was now an agency member, she made a deal with the leader, basically saving her, right, and killing everybody else. And Kyouka didn't want to go, okay, but then Atsushi tried to do something, but you know, I probably shouldn't be saying this or whatnot, but I feel like Atsushi is just, he's disappointing. He is disappointing me. Like, apart from that one fight, not that one fight, but I mean, he had some pretty nice moments here and there, you know, but I feel like he loses way too easily and he gives up way too easily. I don't know. There's just... But then again, it's not like he has full control over it. He knows how to use... I don't feel like he knows how to use his ability to the fullest. But still, like, he was just like... I know he got stabbed. I feel like each time I'm trying to do something, I find an excuse for why he can't be this strong person and defend Kyouka the way she needs to be defended against an enemy, you know? I just feel like he goes down way too quickly. Like, he's too weak. I don't like that. So he was just there, you know? So Kyouka had to take... the woman had wanted to kill Atsushi, and Kyouka's like, please don't kill me, I'll go with you. And then she acted like she was going along with her, but then she stole the phone that the person called from, and then she called the phone, basically called her phone, and used that to control Demon Snow to attack Golden Demon. And then they started fighting and all of that. And then Kunikida and Kenji showed up. When I heard his voice, and then I heard the car flying toward, and I'm like, oh, Kenji. And so those two showed up, you know. And I love when Kunikida like took Atsushi up from the floor. It's like, get up, don't act like a damsel in distress. And I'm like, exactly, that's what it feels like. Like, he's a damsel in distress that needs to be saved, and I don't want that. I don't like that. You know, he needs to find a way to get stronger and like really quickly, because nah, that's getting on my nerves. So those two showed up, and then two people from the guild also showed up, and it's like they were like, okay, there's this luggage that's coming or whatnot. And then I'm like, what the heck is this luggage? Because you saw them previously in the episode, and there was some kind of accident or something. I don't know exactly what happened there. And he talked about the luggage. And I'm like, okay. And then here he mentioned the luggage coming in. I'm like, okay, what's the luggage? And the luggage happened to be other guild members that just dropped out of the sky and just basically sort of like killed everybody. But they didn't. They were still alive, basically. So what's her name? Yosano healed them after first injuring them even more. So she healed them, but then they said that Kyouka is missing. Where is she? I have no clue. Does the guild have her, or do the poor mafia have her? They didn't mention, like, they didn't say that the poor mafia had her, but I don't know. She's missing. But the agency do have the woman that was wanting to take Kyouka with her. So that moment when Dazai basically threatened her, you know, like he was asking her for information, and then she's like, you know what happens to people that talk too much or whatever in the poor mafia, and then he's like, you know, like if I'm interrogating someone, that there's nothing that person won't tell me or wanna, basically that he's a master of interrogation. So, and you see the look on her face, and then you see the look in Dazai's face. It was just so like deliciously ominous. I don't know. I loved it. So I'm sure she basically spilled whatever it is that Dazai wanted to hear, and because of that, she said what she needed to say, and then the president is like, okay, now we need. He left the agency, and then he called Kunikida and told him to meet him at their new location, right? And then when they got there, Dazai is like, okay, so we have these two enemies. One has the numbers and the other one has the finances, I guess. So they need to have two different teams, one that goes on offense, one that stays on defense. The defensive team is supposed to be protecting Yusano, because she's the healer. As long as none of them are completely dead, she can, heal them. And then the other team is the offensive team. Guess I don't quite remember exactly what the offensive, who they're supposed to go after. But either way, you have those two teams. And so they were coming up with strategies and stuff, and then the poor mafia leader knows where they are, and then you have I was about to say Francois, but that's the other stone. He has a name, Francis. Oh yeah, see, Francois. No, not that different. So Francis is there. At first, he was using a gun on the target and whatnot, but then he gave the gun to John, I think was his name, and then he just like had the bullets in his hands, and he just like launched the bullets at the targets, and then there was big explosions. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, basically that's the war that's brewing between these three companies now. Who's gonna come out on top? The agency is not going anywhere. I don't see that happening. Oh, that moment when the president was on the phone with Kunikida, right? And then the president told him that he has companies and whatnot. And then you see Atsushi approaching Kunikida, and he's like, oh, okay. I think it was Kunikida that first mentioned that the president might be under attack. And then Atsushi said, we need to go help. He's like, nah, he's okay. He's like, how can you be so sure? And then he's like, okay, try to grab my hand. I'm like, why? Try to grab it, and then you're gonna understand. And as he was about to touch him, he just did this move where Atsushi is not like laying on the floor, and he said, that's the first thing that my master told me. And I'm like, oh. So the president is a master of sort of like hand-to-hand combat. That's awesome. But then I still don't know what his ability is. I want to see it in action. We go back to him and everybody else was on the floor, but he doesn't know about the trace singing thingy. Freak. Thank you guys for watching. And if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to see my reaction to the next episode, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/ifyallmini, and you can also see the full length of this reaction there. I know she said,